Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome. This is Taurus Tarot, and I'm Joy, your tour guide. Again, just using the tarot cards as a way to interpret the messages that come through. And you know, I'm also here to tell you that anybody can tap in, right? Anybody can tap into the Akashic records, to the life force energy, to the to source, to God, to spirit, you know, to all that is. Anybody can tap into it. It's just a matter of really quieting the mind and allowing yourself to hear the messages that come through. And that's actually kind of the energy that I'm feeling for you right now. Oops, I just dropped the card. I'll be right back. Yeah, so that is the message. That is the feeling that I'm feeling for you, is like almost like you know, kind of clearing of some clutter so that you can see clearly. It's almost like all of this clutter that you have, you know, whether it be in your physical world or in your mind or in your heart or whatever it is. There seems like there's like a lot of clutter, like things maybe that you've been hanging on to that really don't serve any purpose for you, and that you know, you can let go now. You can let go now. And it's almost like, it's like I'm just kind of envisioning this what do you call it, like this board right above your desk. Yeah, this you know, this space where you push in tacks to tack up messages or whatever. And you've got so many different pieces of paper hanging off of that board that you can't even see the board underneath anymore. Yeah, just covered. In fact, it's so dense that you can't even see the messages that you've pinned up there, because they're all kind of overlapping on top of each other. So you can't really read any of them, not fully. You might get glimpses of them, but not see them fully. And so you kind of have to take down the messages from that pushpin board that don't really apply to you anymore. That may be a message that you put up there, you know, 10 years ago when you were in a certain space, and you're no longer in that space. And so you can remove that message, you know. And then what you're going to see is that it clears a space to see a message that you really did need to see, you know, up there. Yeah, I mean, it's just really an energy of this first 2 weeks of December is really just an energy of kind of clearing stuff out so that you can see clearly. Yeah, getting rid of some of the old stuff so that you can see clearly. It's like cutting the grass, you know, so you can you know, see the plants that are growing, or it's like cutting back the bush so you can actually you know, appreciate its beauty in its form. Yeah, okay, so let's see what we got here. Kind of had a bunch of cards fall out. I'm using this tiny cards. I like them. I don't know why, they're just so cute. So here we have the Queen of Wands. Only problem is that this doesn't focus so well with these little cards for whatever reason. But the Queen of Wands for me is someone who is, I love this energy of the Queen of Wands. She's someone who's really not afraid to be who she is. I feel like she has some magic too. Like it's almost, she's always almost always like pictured with this black cat here. And sometimes, you know, we think of like this, of black cat as like kind of mysterious, magical, associated with witches maybe, but I get the feeling that she has some magic in her. She definitely has some magic in her. She has the magic to make things happen. She has the magic to change outcomes. She has the magic to see things clearly, to you know, follow the direction, to know the direction she needs to go in first of all, and then be able to follow the direction. But I also feel a very nurturing energy from her. She's you know, she's definitely very strong, but her strength doesn't overcome the nurturing side of her. She's not afraid to love. She's not afraid to love. She's not afraid to be vulnerable. Yeah, but she's definitely a very passionate person, very passionate. And then we have the Four of Cups here. Yeah, Four of Cups is kind of this energy of apathy. It's this energy of like, you know, I don't care one way or the other. I'm not really invested in anything. Kind of a very different energy from the Queen of Wands. And actually this, I'm sorry, I did go over the Queen of Wands first, but this is the first card that fell out. And it's almost like moving from this energy of being apathetic, of not really caring about anything so much, not seeing even the hand of the divine offering you, you know, love, that this real apathetic feeling, and moving into this Queen of Wands energy of like, yeah, very passionate about life, you know, passionate about relationships, passionate about making things happen, about, you know, accomplishing goals, that kind of thing. And Sagittarius, we also have this energy of, this is the Page, the Knave of Pentacles, which is like the Page of Pentacles, yeah. And he's just kind of this guy of like, he's starting something new. It's an energy of like, sort of like taking the first step towards, you know, this pentacle of groundedness and security, and yeah, of bringing things into your physical reality. It's like, you know, like planting the seed and then like nurturing it to grow, sort of thing. Then we have the Six of Swords, which is this energy of moving away from something that was a little bit turbulent, a little bit challenging, and moving towards calmer waters, moving towards something calmer. And then we have the Judgment card. Yeah, and it's like the angel is calling to you to wake up. She's calling you to wake up. And I'm sorry, but I really just got this feeling of you're not listening. And so here we have the, oopsie. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. We have the Tower card. And this is like a sudden big change that really stirs things up for you. Yeah. But it allows you to wake up. Yeah. It doesn't, this energy, it does feel heavy. It does feel a little bit difficult, but, you know, through these challenging energies, we learn things about ourselves. You know, we learn that we're strong enough to move through these things, and we learn something about ourselves, and we learn that, you know, if this is an energy that we don't want to experience anymore, we learn ways of being that don't allow this energy in. Yeah. So I'm not talking doom and gloom. I'm not being a naysayer. I'm just bringing to light that challenging things do happen, and when they do, it's important to really regard them as a blessing. And it may not feel like it at the time, but once you're through it, you will see that it really is a blessing. It really is. Oftentimes when I see this card, and this is the last card that fell out, especially when it's the last card that comes out, it really feels like, you know, everything before was like, you weren't really listening. You weren't really paying attention. So what is it that you weren't paying attention to? You know, were there things that you really were being asked to let go of and you didn't? And actually, I don't think it was that you didn't. I think it was more so that you were being asked to take inventory. You were asked to look at yourself, to look at what it was that you had, that you were holding on to. Yeah. Because letting go is hard. It is a challenging thing to do. Letting go is hard, especially when there's all these other kind of, you know, it's not just a single attachment. It's like a multifaceted attachment sort of thing. So it can be very hard. But I feel like this energy is of you not even taking inventory of what you did need to let go of, you know, like, so like it's almost like you didn't take that first step. You didn't take that first step. And that you try to move on to calmer waters without really taking that first step of taking a cold hard look at yourself and where you were in this reality, or where you are in this reality. It's like you try to skip that step and just move on to calmer waters, but it doesn't quite work that way. You know, you can't ignore it, because you know, ignoring is like stuffing, right? If you feel something uncomfortable and you don't want to deal with it and you just stuff it down, you push it down, it always comes up. It always comes up, and oftentimes in not so healthy ways. Yeah, that's what this is feeling like right now. That you try to skip this step of really taking a deeper look at yourself, and you just try to move on to calmer waters. You try to pretend that it was all okay, pretend that the things that were, you know, causing challenge for you were just gonna go away if you ignored them. But that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. You have to deal with them. You have to feel them to heal them. Yeah. I mean, it's hard, because I feel like there is some real, well, you know, I just felt like this was somebody in your life, actually, because this came through as a really wonderful energy. And I don't know if this was a loss of someone in your life. I did kind of get a feeling of like a mother figure passing, or maybe it was a wife, or a husband, or somebody significant in your life, though. Maybe it was a loss of that relationship that you thought that you could just stuff the feelings for and not really deal with. That's kind of what I'm getting about that. But this doesn't have to be a person, you know, this really could be something else. It could be something that you were passionate about. It could be a job. It could be, you know, a situation. It could be a hobby, a sport, something that you were passionate about, that you love, that made you feel good, that felt like magic in your life. It could have been something that you lost somehow, and it was really painful for you, and you chose not to really deal with it. You know, you chose to kind of just try to ignore it to see if it would just go away, but it didn't. It didn't. It came back in a really big way for you, or it's coming back in a really big way for you, that is really going to force you to take a look at those feelings around it. Yeah. But it's going to be a good thing for you, because you don't want to be in this energy of apathy. You don't. This is like neither here nor there. This is like it's not depression, but it's not living passionately either. You know, it's kind of just going through the motions. And, you know, that's not why we're here on this planet. We're not here to just go through the motions. We're here to experience life in all of its fullness, in all of its beauty, you know, and all of its tragedy. Yeah, so these first 2 weeks, Sagittarius, for you, these first 2 weeks of December is really kind of about like getting in touch with yourself, and kind of like taking inventory of all the things on your mind, of all the things in your heart, you know, and kind of like taking a look at it and seeing which of those things are really not serving you well, which of those things are, you know, easy to let go of, and just kind of let them go. And then the harder things, because I do feel like there's some kind of loss here, those harder things, like really just allowing yourself to feel it, to feel that loss. It's okay. It's totally okay to feel the loss of something, because it means that you loved it, you know? It means that you felt strongly for it, that you loved it, that you cherished it, you know. And so when you feel that loss, like, see it as a reminder of the love that you felt for it, you know, and work through those feelings, and eventually you'll be able to come out of it. And it's gonna be like, you know, a wake-up call for you, an awakening for you. Yeah, but you have to allow yourself to deal with it. You have to allow yourself, you give yourself permission to feel those hard feelings, because they will bring you to a better place eventually. They will. Okay, Sagittarius, that is the message for you for these first 2 weeks of December. You know, if you'd like a personal reading, you can always contact me at taurustourstarot@gmail.com. And, you know, take care. Namaste.